When basic authentication is selected, user ID and passwords, that means your transmitted data, are passed by using base64 encoded format. Now remember that base64 is basically an encoding format. It's encoding mechanism. It's not an encryption algorithm. Because what happens is many of the protocols like FTP protocol or HTTP protocol, they interpret your binary data in a different way. So in order to transmit the binary data in a textual format, base64 is a good way to do that. Now because at the end of the day base64 is not an encryption algorithm, it is very easy to decrypt, or it is very easy to crack a base64 encoding format. So what we'll do is basically we will see a small sample where we will see that how base64 algorithm is very weak. So what we'll do is we will create a website, and in that website we will mark the checkbox of basic authentication, and then we'll see that how easy it is to decrypt this base64 algorithm. In order to decrypt the base64 algorithm, what I've done is I've created a simple form here, and you can see that there is a text box, and in this text box we'll be pasting our base64 string, and in the button click I'm using the system.convert from base64 function to decode the encoded data by base64. So basically I'm just taking the data here, and basically whatever values I'm going to get, the encoded value, I'm going to display it in the message box. Now what we'll do is, here's a simple application which I have hosted, and in this application I have ensured that it is Windows authentication, and basically I have ensured that we're going to use basic authentication to pass passwords between usernames and password between the Windows client and the web browser. So let me just do OK for this. And what I'm also doing is I'm running the fiddler tool here, and this fiddler tool will help me to catch any kind of messages which are sent between the browser as well as the Windows client. So let me just go and run the application here. Now as soon as I enter the home.aspx page, it pops up the user ID and password box. So let me just put Shiv and Shiv. Say OK. Now as I was basically browsing the site, the fiddler tool has tracked the data what has been passed between the web client and the browser, between the Windows client and the browser. So what I'll do is, let's go and see the encrypted base64 data. Now there is it. So let me just copy this, copy header. Now let me go and run my application, which basically will help me to decode the data. So that's the key, and you can see that how easy it is to decrypt a base64 algorithm or a base64 encoding mechanism.